Straight ahead on CCX News, a situation Brooklyn Park Police haven't encountered before. This one gets a little squirrely. Plus, the end of an era for local families who made standing in line for a CD an annual tradition. But first,
people need to be aware of their surroundings at all times.
A reminder for drivers after another worker is killed in a construction zone. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. A Golden Valley company is mourning the loss of an employee after he was struck and killed doing its job along I-94. Vern Hedquist died Tuesday afternoon while working along eastbound I-94 in Rogers. He worked at WSB and Associates and was collecting data for an upcoming MnDOT project. One of his colleagues, Thomas Wood of Maple Grove, was injured in the crash but has been released from the hospital and is back at work. Hedquist died when a semi rear-ended a pickup truck that was slowing down for traffic. The State Patrol says the crash happened fast and it serves as a reminder to slow down when drivers see brakes in the distance, especially in a construction zone.
Now, this was a moving work zone, but it was posted with a large sign the right lane was closed. So if drivers are looking down the roadway 10 seconds or even 5 seconds ahead, they can see the sign, they can move over in a safe manner. So we're not really sure what happened with these two drivers that made contact. They're still part of the investigation. But I can tell you this crash was completely preventable if people drive in a safe manner around work zones.
Alcohol was not a factor in the crash. The State Patrol also ruled out any medical emergency as a factor in causing the accident. Nielsen says charges are likely against the semi-truck driver, but an investigation could take months. Hedquist's death was the 13th this year inside a work zone resulting from a crash, the most in Minnesota in 11 years. A GoFundMe page has been set up to support Hedquist's family. It's not your everyday school bus. This one is fighting hunger. The turquoise transport you see here in Brooklyn Center is transporting shoes instead of students. It's a program called Shoe Away Hunger, and it's helping feed people in need. The group takes donations of gently used or new shoes and then sells them for a suggested donation of $5 a pair. Workers on the bus tell us that $5 can feed someone in need for a week.
We like to bless people, people that don't have a lot of money, so we try to make our prices affordable for people that come on the bus. And usually we get a lot of smiles and a lot of thank yous.
Where it will be next, you can go to shoeawayhunger.org. Some exciting news for Golden Valley pet owners. The city has agreed to partner on a plan to bring an off-leash area to Wirth Park. The Minneapolis Park Board, the Animal Humane Society, and the city are partnering together on the effort. Golden Valley City Council member Jillian Rosenquist says the city is a very dog-loving community, and this is something the city will celebrate. Preliminary plans are expected early next year. Rosenquist says the city's Open Space and Recreation Commission is also looking for plans for an off-leash dog area on the west side of the city. A new Maple Grove restaurant has announced when it plans to open. Crave, located at the corner of Elm Creek Boulevard and Main Street, says it expects to open November 13th. The restaurant says it will set up a hiring site in the Arbor Lakes area. Crave will provide something the city currently does not have, rooftop dining. However, because of the weather, customers will likely have to wait for that until the springtime. And it's the end of an era for local families who made it a tradition to stand in line to get their hands on the latest Cities 97 sampler CD. This year will be the 30th and final edition. The money raised from the sales of the CD supported Minnesota charities. Each artist donated their songs. Cities 97 says the CDs have raised more than $13 million over the last 3 decades. Most folks shoo away squirrels, but one kind-hearted person in Brooklyn Park decided to lend a helping hand. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us an amazing animal story caught on body camera from Brooklyn Park Police.
Fall colors are just starting to show their glory. Bold yellow, red, and orange leaves dot the landscape in Brooklyn Park. And just as Mother Nature begins to go dormant for the winter, she gives an injured rodent a reprieve.
Yeah, big wow moment. I think you can see the reaction of the officers and everybody high-five, and nobody thought that squirrel was going to come back alive.
Is he giving the CPR? I think it is. Look at him.
Brooklyn Park officers Tony Weeks and Jeremy Halleck were patrolling along Hampshire Avenue last Tuesday when they rolled up on this scene.
What happened?
And their traffic stop turned out to be anything but ordinary.
Did you?
Yeah, so you know. Try to help it out.
When they got a little closer to the scene, they found this man, Chris Felix Maldonado, trying to help out a squirrel who might have been clipped by his car.
The tire didn't hit him though?
I don't think so.
Not only did the Good Samaritan pull over, but he wouldn't give up trying to help the wounded animal.
Is he squished anywhere?
With a little TLC and a little CPR and a few tummy rubs,
He's coming around now.
slowly the sick squirrel started to show some signs of life.
Put you in for a life-saving award. There he goes! You saved his life!
And it's official. The once thought to be roadkill makes a remarkable return.
Pretty interesting and fun moment, I think, for everybody.
As for Brooklyn Park Police, they say this is a first.
You know, in a world where we see so much trauma and so many bad things, here's a kid that's really trying to do something nice for an animal because he felt bad. And I think that just was heartwarming, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to share it with the community.
It's definitely a story you don't see every day. Still ahead, a connection between students and seniors in Plymouth. Plus, two of the area's top volleyball teams go head-to-head as Wayzata faces Osseo. But first, temperatures barely reached the 50s on Friday. The generational gap between baby boomers and middle school children is stark. The former came of age during the Great Depression, while the latter lives in an era immersed in technology and social media. But as Delane Cleveland reports in today's School Spotlight, there's a common bond that people of any generation can relate to.
Hi. Passing time in a suburban middle school brings hundreds of students scurrying into the halls. But don't let the appearance of energetic middle school students scare you into forming negative stereotypes.
Everybody's afraid of it, you know, ooh, middle school.
Sue Kim is a band teacher at Wayzata East Middle School. According to her, this is the best group of students to teach.
That's the magical age of where you capture things that are going to leave an impression on them as they move into high school and into the community.
Kim uses music as the vehicle to capture the students' hearts and minds. Yet there's only so much a student can learn in a classroom.
These are the 7th graders from Wayzata East Middle School, and you guys are in for a treat.
That's why some of the East Middle School band students are getting out into the community to share their talents with others, specifically those who may not have the ability to travel far from where they live.
And that's what catapulted this into this idea of how can I connect all these hundreds of kids that know how to play instruments in schools with all these hundreds of seniors that can't get out anymore to enjoy things.
The program is called Harmony Bridge. It's a nationwide effort founded by Michael Levine, who's serving as the music director for this performance at St. Therese of New Hope. Participation, by the way, is completely voluntary.
I know that they can't really get out anymore and go to shows, so I thought it would just be a really neat thing to go and perform for them.
But Harmony Bridge is about more than just performing. The students also take time to interact with the seniors once they finish playing.
The residents had many of the same experience, interests, favorite flavors of ice cream. They used to play band music.
The age gap between the students and seniors spans several decades. Yet for an hour in early October, they find common ground through the universal language of music. In New Hope, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Students in the East Middle School Harmony Bridge Club have rehearsals every Monday morning. The goal this year is to perform for a different group once every 2 months. Good job, guys. Still ahead, while you may see a lot of pink over in Maple Grove. But first, the Cooper football team gets set for homecoming after a win over Armstrong last week. Jay Wilcox is in next.
I'm Jay Wilcox with sports. The Wayzata and Osseo volleyball programs each had tougher seasons than usual last fall, Wayzata in particular. They're both back at a high level this season. Wayzata visiting the Orioles on Wednesday, set 1, Osseo trying to rally. Emily Rossing gets the block, cutting Wayzata's lead to 21-18. But Wayzata pulls away. Elizabeth Helmick gets the game-winning kills. The Trojans take it 25-20. Set 2, Carissa Furman with the back set for Rossing, and she puts it down as Osseo builds a lead. Wayzata comes back though. Helmick's kill gives the Trojans a 19-18 lead. Rossing gets another big hit for Osseo, and the Orioles rally to win the set 25-22. Nice dig by Osseo's Taylor Kwan, then the set by Furman to Kate Achenbach, and her kill gives Osseo a 14-11 lead. The Trojans work the slide for Caitlin Emke, and she hammers it, tying the score up at 19-all. Set point for Wayzata, and Helmet crushes the hit down the line for a 25-23 win. Kate Long gets a kill in set 4 for Wayzata as the Trojans take control early. Kelsey Seelock drills the cross-court hit for Osseo as they try and keep pace. Then Rossing splits the defense with a big kill, cutting the Wayzata lead to 21-17. But the Trojans close it out from there. Sophomore Sophie Jesowitz gets up and puts it down for a kill. Wayzata wins set 4, 25-19. You can see Osseo against Maple Grove live Thursday night here on CCX. It's playoff time in girls tennis. The weather wasn't ideal Wednesday, but teams tried to get their section matches in if possible. Champlin Park hosted Monticello in the Section 5 AA tournament. Number 1 singles, Champlin Park's Simran Desai is in the near court. She steps in and fires a strong forehand winner. She breezes to a 6-0, 6-1 win for the Rebels. Second singles, and Alex Repler receiving serve for the Rebels. After an exchange, she delivers a soft backhand drop shot for the point. She wins 7-5, 6-2. At number 3 singles, it's a good serve by Monticello, but watch the cross-court return by Justina Palmer for the point. Palmer wins a 3-set match for Champlin Park. At first doubles, Champlin Park's Josie Johnson and Grace Cassell in the near court. Johnson will put a volley winner up the middle as the Rebels duo wins 6-2, 6-0. Champlin Park wins the match 7-0. They're facing Maple Grove in the quarterfinals Thursday afternoon. The Cooper football team is now 5-0 after a win over rival Armstrong last week. The Hawks are trying to keep the intensity up this week for homecoming. Last week's 42-34 win over Robbinsdale district neighbor Armstrong had plenty of good moments for Cooper, but with enough mistakes to give the team some things to work on.
Well, it's my senior year. It felt really good that we beat our rivals last time. This year is our last time playing them, so it felt good actually beating them.
Wasn't perfect by either side of the ball for us as a team, offense or defense, but also in watching Armstrong, you know, they didn't play their perfect game either. So it did come down to what we said, the team that's going to make the least amount of mistakes is going to come out victorious, and you know, we ended up making a couple more plays, and that's what got us the win.
A couple of weeks ago, the Vikings found out what happens when you don't take an opponent seriously. This week, Cooper takes on winless Richfield. On paper, it should be a blowout for the Hawks. Making sure the players don't think about it like that is part of making the Cooper program a consistent winner.
I could say we learned from that from last year for the playoffs. That's why we kind of, came from like a shortstop because, we kind of overlooked the team because we did beat them, by a lot at the beginning of the season. But now that, that's the outcome. If you overlook a team, anything can happen.
We ignore the record. Records mean nothing. We've got to we always talk about in life, you've got to beat the player across from you. So when we grade them out, every single game, it's did you win your individual matchup and did it help us as a team? And when we go out there, they're going to have 11 players. They're going to suit up just like we have 11. So our expectation is that they go out there and they win their battles. And so they've got to sit down and really watch what their 11 are doing.
It's also homecoming week at Cooper. While it can provide some distractions, homecoming is also a chance to celebrate past and present Hawks.
We've invited all the alumni from Cooper history to come out to the game. We do have a bunch of jerseys still that we have that we're going to give out. So we've got about 68 old Cooper football players that have RSVP'd to come to the game, and it's going to be kind of cool. They're going to lead these boys out so they can see when you talk about C house, whose house, C house, and just understanding that this house wasn't built without a great foundation, and our alumni are part of that.
Like always, the Cooper guys intend to go 1-0 this week, and that would be 6 straight winning weeks. Friday's homecoming game at Cooper has been moved to 5 p.m. It had originally been slated for 7 o'clock. And that's it for sports. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Jay. Voters will elect 2 people to the Brooklyn Center City Council this November. Today we hear from 2 out of the 4 candidates running. They are Don Bumgarner and incumbent April Graves.
Don Bumgarner. I'm running for Brooklyn Center City Council. I have a degree in law enforcement. I'm on the Brooklyn Center Charter Commission, and I've been an election judge. I've been a homeowner in Brooklyn Center for over 22 years. I would like to see a positive business atmosphere developed in Brooklyn Center by the enforcement of ordinances. You can't get a good burger and beer in Brooklyn Center without paying an arm and a leg, except for probably at the Brooklyn Center American Legion Club. have to go to Brooklyn Park or Fridley to get that burger and beer in a friendly atmosphere. With a positive business atmosphere in Brooklyn Center, we will finally start getting more tax-paying businesses, which will lower the property tax burden on our homeowners. Please vote for me, Don Bumgarner, for Brooklyn Center City Council, for a positive path forward and lower taxes. Thank you.
Hello, my name is April Graves. 4 years ago, you voted for me, making me the first woman of color ever elected to the council. In my time in office, I have served as the liaison to the Parks and Rec Commission and Brooklyn Youth Council, where we have expanded our Summer Jobs for Youth program as well as increased recreation programming offered to teens. I have worked to lift racial and economic equity and community engagement to the forefront of council decision making. I will continue and expand on this work by advocating for small business supports, protections for affordable housing, and increased police transparency. I promise to remain accessible and responsive, to listen rather than assume, empathize rather than judge, and to find connections within our differences. Please vote for me, April Graves, for Brooklyn Center City Council.
Up next, Girls' Night Out in Maple Grove. We'll have details on an important fundraiser when we come back. And finally, it's a night to wear pink in Maple Grove. Reporter Meredith Hackler is at the shops at Arbor Lakes with more on an important fundraiser. Hi, Meredith.
Yes, Shannon, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and here at the shops of Arbor Lakes, they're hosting Girls' Night Out. And here to chat with me a little bit more about it is Katie Welch, and this all helps a really good charity, right?
It does. The Hope Chest for Breast Cancer, 100% of the proceeds from this event go back to that, and they help women with financial aid. They provide transportation for their children to daycare, meals, help them keep their heat bill, all that kind of stuff.
And not only is this for a great cause, but you also have some really cool goodies over here, right? So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so right when you enter the event, you're going to get this swag bag along with a nice little makeup bag full of goodies. So there's lots of different things inside of it as far as coupons and stuff like that, and then you go shopping. So you can walk around the event, grab some, wine and goodies, and then head off to the various stores that have things going on. White House Black Market has this awesome t-shirt that you can buy, and again, a percentage of the proceeds go back to their charity of choice. So in general, we're helping all charities.
All right, well, thank you so much, Katie. And they're going to be out here until 8 o'clock tonight, so if you like wine, you like beer, you like food, you might as well come on out. Live here in Maple Grove, Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Thank you, Meredith. Looks like fun. That event grows every year. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you right back here on Friday, starting at 4 o'clock.